Hi, I'm Hazel, and next up we have Effon Khoo, founder of kakitangan.com, a company founded in February 2015. And just very quickly, over a short period of time, they have built a very simple system targeted to small, medium enterprises to solve their problem, their entire paper pencil problem of applying for leave, applying for their pay, and also applying for medical insurances. This is somewhat of a mini breakthrough in the HR system, and that I know for sure. So right now, kakitangan.com has reached over 3,000 clients in such a short period of time, which is pretty amazing. And kakitangan.com, on top of all their achievements thus far, they've obviously garnered a lot of confidence in the marketplace by being granted 150,000 ringgits from Cradle. And very excitingly, and one of the biggest reasons why we have Effon here today is that on the 26th of September, kakitangan.com successfully, during a crowdfunding on Pitch-In, successfully raised over 1 million ringgit within just 24 hours. And just by doing this, kakitangan.com has become quite famous to be known as garnering the most number of investors, the most largest diverse crowd of investors, which specifically is about 62 of them, in a short period of time. The best part is that most of these investors are existing clients. So with me right now is Effon. Effon, welcome to NextUp. How are you feeling?
Good, thank you, Heather. Good day, everyone. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Thank you for being with us. Effon, maybe just a very personal introduction to yourself.
Okay.
How did you journey into kakitangan.com?
Okay.
So what were you before and how did you land up here?
Okay, before kakitangan.com, I actually spent 8 years overseas. Among of them, 5 years was in Microsoft Office engineering team, which we built Office 2010, 2013, and cloud and Android version of Office.
Yeah.
Then I joined a smaller NASDAQ company as a P&L general manager. That's where I start feeling the pain of HR's operations.
Yeah.
Back in Microsoft, it's one of the most successful human pyramid ever built.
Yeah.
It's a very successful organization. The company is making money.
Yeah.
In a smaller NASDAQ company, I have 100 staff, no system.
Yeah.
Everything go through paper and Excel.
Yeah.
It actually become one of my worst nightmares.
Yeah. How much of
You can imagine.
How much of time do you think it gets wasted in doing paper pencil or manual based stuff for things like this?
Can you imagine? Actually, people come and people go. Nothing is recorded. Lots of information is just disappeared along the way. The small things like people applying leave, the staff actually fill out the form. They hate it so much. They pass to manager to sign it, pass to GM to sign it, and I pass to HR and gets rejected.
Right.
Because this person is applying for 5 days but only have 3 days entitlement.
Right.
But no one knows, right?
Yeah.
It's wasting of everyone's time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I wanted to solve the problem. Then I realized actually a lot of companies having the same issue.
Yeah, that's true. I run a small company as well. I have the same issue. Things are not being recorded. Well, I mean, I run a good company though. But things are not being recorded. There's a lot of wastage of time. My staff probably don't know how much of leave they are entitled to. And there's a lot of back and forth as well. So
Correct.
spot on. I think this is a typical problem people face.
Because sometimes it's it's not only the employees hate it. You as managers, you hate it as well. You don't know who is actually applying leave beside this person.
Yeah.
You're looking at this person's leave form,
Yes.
and you don't know how many balance of this person is still having.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
So,
I want to focus on the business. I want to make revenue. I don't
Exactly.
want to be dealing with things like this. On a
and
day-to-day
eventually you
basis.
end up spending more time in admin stuff
Yeah.
that you cannot do something that's strategic HR.
Sure.
Number one, you should spend more time on keeping your employees to be very committed and happy here, right?
Yeah.
That takes you a lot of time, right?
Yes.
You're talking about
impossible to make people happy. Anyway.
Well, committed is the first word, right? Engaged,
something
committed.
today.
So you're talking about company culture, you're talking about your office pantry and all the setups, the communications. The second thing is the employee motivations of app performance. How do you actually continuously improve performance of everyone?
Yeah.
This one, for sure, there's much more time, right,
Yes.
to be spent, right? What's the 3 year, 1 year, how do you cut to everyone?
Absolutely.
The goal not too high, not too low. It's a scratch goal. You need to jump and catch it. You need to be trained on how to actually communicate correctly for different type of performance.
Correct.
So when you ask a lot of small and medium company, have you done enough of that?
Yeah.
And most of the case, the HR says no.
No.
And you ask them why. I said, well, leave form, all this paperwork or the payrolls. So we dedicated our resources to actually trying to solve the problem.
Yeah.
We gave people a free HR system starting from leave application, the employee database, and those birthday reminders from scratch. It take over their admin work.
Yeah.
So they can actually focus on the strategic HR. We really hope to help more companies to become greater company with kakitangan.com.
Thank you so much. So clear understanding of your product, I think is really, really easy and simple to understand. Could you tell us a little bit about how you set up the company and where you typically are as a company today?
Okay. At the very beginning, it was me and my ex-colleagues. They were ex-Microsoft dev leads, and then there are ex-Facebook dev leads, ex-Zalora dev leads, and we blended with 20 years experience HR managers. The product is eventually the outcome of the team. So we launched our product mid of last July. So today is probably 14 months.
You started in Feb. You launched the product in July. That's really fast.
In fact, it's slow.
It's slow. Okay, it's slow.
My first version it was like 2 months, but for 2 months products, you have lots of problems. So
a lot of testing
at the very beginning, we invited 3 companies to test it out, and then they was like scold me upside down. So I spent 1 more month to fix all the problem. Invite another 5 companies, same reiteration. We get scolded upside down again.
Scolding. Okay, and then?
So that's why when we launch it by July. It's about there. So since then, our numbers grow very quickly.
Very good. So you got 2 rounds of scolding from 8 different companies.
Of course, more than that.
More than that. Okay.
Right. So it was like 2 months. That's April until July.
So scolding until July. And after that, you launched.
Yes.
Fantastic. And so what has it been like? What has the journey been like for you from last July till this September?
The first 6 months, we didn't have any marketing budget. So I just go out and try to tell everyone to use it. I go to events. I go to all those sales chapters. There's local organization sales chapters. I go to camp at every sales chapters to convince people to use it. We managed to pull in 1,000 companies at the time. I was almost burnt out. Then we start considering digital marketing. Today, about 50% come from word of mouth of the new companies sign up, and 50% come from the different digital marketing campaign.
Wow! So lack of resources didn't hinder you from growing to that capacity of about 1,000 users.
Just work hard.
Yeah, just working very, very hard and. They call it back borrow steal.
Eventually, lots of people was saying that in startups, can I make something and overnight, poof, it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, right? Yeah, but there's this conception that it is like that.
Correct.
So what happened after the 6 months till September? So what has it been like for you this year?
So this year was good. So we keep growing. And then it was started from a free leave application systems. So there are more people after they use the system, they trust us more. Then that's the time that they start saying, Effon, I really want to support you to move on. Can you sell something to us? So we start by selling medical insurance. If they buy medical insurance from us, the employee can actually log into the system and see their insurance profiles and what's the limit budgets and room rate and things like that.
So correct me if I'm wrong. You were selling them something for free, and because of the trust, they came back to you and said, "Could you just sell us something so that we can give something back to you as well?"
Yes,
that's wonderful.
So then the medical insurance is the first one. Then the second one we were working on. We built out released a couple months ago. It was a payroll software.
Okay.
So now when people are looking at the payroll software, instead of paying a couple of thousand ringgits, they can actually pay by monthly hundreds ringgits to just use the payroll software.
Okay. So typically, how do clients pay for their payroll? How do they do it?
So
typically,
what we do is actually per person charge.
So if it wasn't for you, how would they be paying for it?
Yep, it's either they actually spend a couple of thousand ringgits to buy a payroll software, and whether they like it or not, they stuck with it already.
Okay.
It's an investment sunken, right?
Okay.
So for us, it's actually
and they would have a dedicated person for that as well.
Correct.
Okay.
So for us, it's a monthly scheduling.
Yeah.
But more importantly is we actually redesigned the entire interface because I wanted to use it myself. I said in this way, the payroll has been very complicated.
Right.
But most of the company, I do not have a dedicated HR person to actually train and use it.
Yeah.
Can I make a software bosses can do it themselves?
Right.
Or the accountants can do it themselves.
Okay.
So that was the intention, and that's why we actually make a lot of improvement in the user interface. That actually we said if everyone can fly now, every boss can do a payroll.
Wow,
with
nice
kakitangan.com.
one.
Yes,
Nice one. Very good.
And finally, it's a cloud-based system. So a lot of HR manager has been telling us that, look, Effon, I bought the software, I installed in my computer. What if my operating system is gone or my laptop is gonna snatch?
Correct.
What can I do? The next month payroll is dead.
Yes.
So that's why we sort out all the security issues. We make one of the most secured systems in town, and
that would be critical because payroll is definitely the most sensitive thing a company owns.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And so who are your clients today that probably the rest of our viewers would have heard about, and that you're comfortable, and of course your clients will be comfortable with you sharing as well?
We have a lot of customers. Actually, most of the startups that you heard in town, a lot of them are our customers.
Okay.
But with the authorization that I can disclose on my websites, there is thelorry.com as well as My Burger Labs.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Fantastic. And up until today, you've got 3,000 existing users, right?
Companies.
Companies.
So the employees is in 5 digits of numbers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, this is a bit of a sensitive question, but have there been dropouts in usage of your system? And what have you learned from that experience?
For sure, right? So you don't expect a system roll out, and especially we allow them to drop off instead of sunken costs, to buy a whole stack of system.
Yeah.
For sure, there are dropouts. We're learning from the journey that actually a lot of dropouts was that we didn't manage it well.
Okay.
Right? So we need to continue improving the product. We want to reduce the confusion because it's a very complicated thing. How can we make it so
simple,
easy? This is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every month you follow this.
Yeah.
So that we continue to improve in that sense, and reducing the drop off.
Yeah. So, and also adapting to change is something quite difficult, right? So how do you get the human being behind the technology to accept it and then to use it for long periods of time? How do you do that?
You actually have a right questions actually. So comparing to drop off, actually the more important thing is how do you actually get people on board. After all, it's not a software apps that you download on the phone and click, you use it, right?
Correct.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It's a company software. People configure it based on the company's policy. We really want to make the system so easy to use and so easy to get on board. This is step 1, 2, 3, done.
Done. Yeah.
Right. So that's what we are continuously working on.
Right, and I think it's quite normal that, especially with technology, that you would have some people adapting to it really well, and some people saying, "I'm still clueless like hell." But could you tell us,
especially if you see our motto is so much that I want to make sure every bosses can do it themselves.
Right. I think that is going to be a big relief to a lot of startups, a lot of SMEs. Massive relief for them.
Yep.
If it really is that simple.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of us over here run our companies. We can think that level, no? But when it comes to simple things like this, really difficult for us to do.
So go to kakitangan.com, sign up a company account, start from there.
I will do that. I will do that straight away. But we still have some more questions. What is the best compliment that you've received and from which you've realized that you know that this product is really going to sell?
Wow.
When did you really get that confidence that yes, this product will move?
I constantly receive some love letters,
Love letters
from the customers that are saying, "Thank God, why aren't you here last
Yeah,
time?"
yeah.
Like that actually light ups our days in the team. We
Right.
work very hard to wanting to solve a problem. It seems like we are solving a problem for people.
Right.
And one of the most interesting cases I've ever heard was there was a customers telling me that, Effon, I have a staff went to interview in a competitors' companies and come back and say, boss, I decided not to join them because they are not using kakitangan.com. I was like, woo! We are really, you see, the motto of kakitangan.com is really, we hope that with kakitangan.com, you can actually build a better companies.
Yeah.
So this is a step ahead. It's like not only that a system that actually ease up your work, is cost saving, and more importantly, your people feel proud to be in your company. This is a modern company, not a dinosaur company, and this is really having a smooth people operation inside the company.
Yeah.
That's something that really we pursue in the next couple of years.
I love your body language. It just shows how passionate
How
passionate you are about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that you talk about love letters in the context of a business is amazing. Interesting information about your product. Definitely would love to trial it. I'm sure
you
there are
so
many
much.
people out there who would want to as well.
Yep.
And maybe a little bit about yourself. As we were chatting earlier, you told me that you are a father of two.
Yep.
This is pretty crazy.
I have two boys, two monkey of 1, 7, 1, 3.
7 years old and 3 years old.
3 or 7 years old and 3 years old. So happy to be a father of two.
Yeah.
My wife dedicated so much that she gave up her job taking care of the kids.
You're lucky.
Yes,
you're
I'm
lucky, and I
lucky.
hope that you're grateful for her every day.
Yes,
Okay.
startup has been a lonely journey, as many people realize,
Yeah.
and the family support is definitely helpful.
Very critical, right?
Yep.
And I mean, you had a passion. I understand that it's been a very difficult time for you as well to build this product up.
Yep.
You've got bills to pay.
Yep.
You've got 2 kids.
Yep.
So how have you been doing it?
Okay. First of all, make sure you plan it well. So for kakitangan.com, I've been planning for more than 10 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was a soul-searching journey of 10 years, like what do I want to do? And then am I prepared? So the moment we launch and then we want to do it, well that we can move on.
Okay.
And secondly is that there's always stress, but at this age I'm heading 40 soon. So we realize it's a part of life, right? Every work that there are stress. We really all we wanted to do is we want to make sure we are doing something that we wanted to do. It's actually giving the goods to the community.
Yeah.
I'm bringing one of the best systems to the customers. They love it, and the price point is the lowest end. That makes our life difficult,
Yes.
but that's why a lot of people said, Effon, why don't you focus on bigger companies instead of
Correct.
smaller companies?
Correct.
You can actually charge it more expensive. We
Yeah.
thought at the end of the day, if we do that, we are not really doing the impacts for the real SMEs. We really want to help many companies.
Which is where you started off.
Yes,
Which is where you started off.
to
That was the
become a
problem that
greater
I saw.
companies.
Yeah.
So I just tell myself very simple. I could actually sell to 10 companies and profitable, or I could sell to 100 companies and profitable. No, we decided to sell to thousands of companies. Thus, we are profitable.
Well done.
In order to do that, we need to make sure we have a good cash flows plan that we are having. But more importantly, the products you are having is really able to help you to scale up to that
Yeah,
much.
the product should really speak for itself as well.
Correct.
So, while you've been doing all of these things, and I love that you said that you took 10 years to plan. There are a lot of people out there, when I hear them giving advice to entrepreneurs, I get scared because they say, just take the plunge. And to me, that is, I think that's pretty ridiculous. I think there's a lot of planning involved in it. So I'm glad that you said there was a lot of planning before you took that.
Maybe I'm more old school.
Maybe I'm also old school. Well, then that makes 2 of us.
Well,
That makes two of us.
so this is my third startups, right? So
This is
my,
your third startup?
Yeah, my last startup was 12 years ago. So actually, we every journey of life, I'm heading to 40 soon. So the journey of life actually taught us a lot. So we want to be prepared. We want to make sure what we are doing is actually is valuable.
Yeah.
So you need to solve a couple of things in the startup life. First, are you making something that people want to use? Second, are you feeling happy with it? And third, what is your share structures that makes you move on without
Scalable,
troubles? Yeah. So you need to really sort that things out. So at the end of the day, the journey is if you clear as many things
Hurdles.
as possible, hurdles as possible like that, then you focus on solving the most important problems and you focus on really giving values to customers. That makes you to go to office happily.
Very good. And what was the lowest point in your journey in kakitangan.com that made you think twice about whether or not you should continue?
No,
Never?
Yeah, never. I have not been, so in the kakitangan.com journey, I haven't been really thought of giving up. We almost did multiple times. We just want
What
to
do you
make
mean
sure
by you were almost dead a couple of times? Can you tell us about your near-death experiences?
running out of cash flows, right?
Yeah.
So we are very fanatics, right? So from interview just now, you realize I really, instead of making a whole lot of money in a short term of time, it's really deferred monetization game, right? I'm trying to make money only if I can actually sell to many people in a very affordable price and good products. But in order to do that, we fall into a typical software as a service revenue, the business model range, that you have a high R&D cost at the very beginning, but your revenue grow very slow. So you just need to be prepared well on it.
So one of your near-death experiences was really related to cash flow, lah.
Yeah. I was so fanatic that I thought I don't want to make money from it. So, so lots of the first year, lots of my customers actually thought, Effon, are you doing a CSR project or something? It's
you
interesting.
just really believed in
we
the
just
cause,
believe that we have a higher purpose on the company, that we really want to bring goods to the community.
That really excites me, because this is where spirituality, the higher purpose, and business actually can coincide. And hopefully you make money out of it as well. Great. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I think what our audience definitely want to know is the juicy part.
Okay.
Which is, how did you get the $1 million?
Okay. Well,
and can you give us a bit of a background? How much do people typically make out of crowdfunding? Why was it that when yours came out as $1 million within 24 hours, it became such big news? And definitely share with them as well what they could do if they're looking for something similar.
So the first advice normally we will say, if you really want to do crowdfunding, make sure you know who are your investors, right? Every people have their flavor to invest. Then it may be a person that likes the F&B industry. It may be a person that likes the conventional business. It may be a person that likes the high growth business. So be very specific that you know who is the investor who believe in you first, then believe in the business. Without this batch of investors, maybe you just can't do crowdfunding, or even you just can't do fundraising easily.
So you really got to know what your investors are hungry for.
So my case is that happens to be most of my investors are my customers. There are some of my friends who wanted to do equity crowdfunding. Then they realized maybe their customers is not the type of investor who may buy their business, but maybe their vendors. Are the vendors seeing I'm supplying the materials to you, is growing, I believe in your business. It may be the case. So every business have different type of potential investor flavor.
Okay.
So
what made you choose to go to your clients as investors?
Actually, we were chosen eventually. No, I mean, instead of we choose people. So at the very beginning, my accountant's telling me that, look, Effon, I want to buy a share in your company. She eventually bought in the equity crowdfunding. So it's like, but I'm not rich, right? I don't have a budget of 100K USDs to invest, so we can work out a legal agreements and so on. That's not cheap. So my employees want to invest. My customers, there are a few of them telling us that can they be a part of it in the journey. So we thought it could be a good opportunity. So we have a framework sorted out for everyone. You don't need to commit a lot. It's how much do you actually feel comfortable and believe in. Then join us in the journey.
So you were chosen.
No, that is an interesting word.
That is an interesting word. It is an interesting word. It does sound like that's what it was. Why do you think? Why do you think you were chosen? Why do you think that your employees and your clients both? I mean, sometimes some startups, the clients believe in them, the employees hate them.
So you see, I'm humbled by the blessings and support that everyone given to me. So it's something that. Only with the support of the community, your staff, your customers, then we see the growing of the company.
I'm going to ask you a very difficult question, okay? But you have to answer very, very honestly, okay?
Okay.
Do you think it is you, or do you think it's the product?
Yeah, it has to be a mixture, right?
No, just one only.
Kalau
satu saja,
which one? If it is without you, it's without the team.
Right.
So it's without the team, it's without the product. But ultimately, I would say it's not you, it's above you.
Right.
Before me, it is what is the higher purpose that we wanted to build this career instead of a job.
Beautiful. So. Great. And so now I think one of the things that I think they would probably feel very curious to know is how did you start your pitch?
Okay.
Yeah. So just tell us in the first minute, how did you pull people in to feeling the enthusiasm about your pitch?
Because
pitching is very scary.
I always remember like my first 1,000 customers. This is what I said. If you apply and approve leave in the company using paper, go ahead and use kakitangan.com. If you buy medical insurance in the company, please come to kakitangan.com so your employees can log in to check their insurance entitlement. If you have payroll conducted still in paper and Excel, please come to kakitangan.com. We have a beautiful system to help you calculate EPF, SOCSO, HDN, and after you mark as paid, your employee can actually see the payslip on the system.
And is that how you start your first minute?
Yes.
That's very good. That's very comprehensive.
Basically, it's just precisely what they would expect.
Very good. And what is your probably your last words that you'd like to tell the audience viewing? And typically, your audience would be 25 to 40 in terms of age group, who are probably aspiring to be somebody who can make a big difference in the world. What would your last words be?
We wouldn't be here without the support of community. For example, people like Cradle Magic's, Cradle Coach and Growth, Alliance, SMEs, they have helped us so much. So the community is helping us. Our customers is giving us their blessings. Our people's in the entire team has the faith in the business. So first of all, give people a reason to believe. So give yourself a reason to believe in your business. So why are you doing this? So if you sort that out, your journey will be easier. Hopefully.
And I love that you say this is a community-based growth as well. Thank you so much, Effon. You're a great guy with a fantastic product.
Thank you.
And definitely after this, we'd love to have a look at your software as well.
Yes. Please go kakitangan.com.
Kakitangan.com. Thank you so much, Effon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.